Hello students, through this video I am going to teach you a well-known poem composed by William Wordsworth, a great poet of nature, and the name of the poem is She Dwelt Among the Untrodden Ways. It is considered one of the best Lucy poems composed by Wordsworth. It is very short poem, but it is very touching and interesting poem. In this poem, the poet William Wordsworth tells us about Lucy, about her personality, and he also tells us about that place where Lucy used to live. So let us start. She dwelt among the untrodden ways. She stands for Lucy. Dwelt means lived. Untrodden means unfrequented. Ways means tracks. So Lucy lived among the tracts unfrequented by the people. He means to say that the place where Lucy lived, that was surrounded by many ways, and only a few people used to move on those ways. Only a few people used to tread on those ways. He further says, beside the springs of dove. Lucy, she used to live in a small cottage that was situated beside the springs which mingled together to make the Dove River. It is the name of a river that is in Derbyshire. Poet further says, a maid whom there were none to praise and very few to love. Maid again indicates to Lucy. The poet says that Lucy, she was young, she was unmarried girl, and she was very beautiful girl. But there were only few people who could admire, who could appreciate beauty and youth of Lucy. They may be her parents. The poet in the next line, he compares Lucy with a violet flower. He says that as a violet flower that grows beside a stone that is covered with moss, this violet flower remains half visible to the people. Similarly, Lucy also remained half visible to the people of this world. Fair as a star when only one is shining in the sky. In this line, the poet compares Lucy with a star that twinkles alone in the sky, that looks beautiful. Similarly, Lucy also looked beautiful. We know very well that in this poem there are only two stanzas. In the next stanza, the poet says, she lived unknown and few could know. Lucy, she led a life that was unknown. Poet means to say that nobody knew about Lucy. She was totally unknown to outsiders, and there were only a few people who could know Lucy. Poet further says, when Lucy ceased to be, but she is in her grave, and oh, the difference to me. The poet says that only a few people could know her, and this was the reason that when Lucy died, when she was buried in her grave, only a few people they came to know about her death, and only a few people expressed their sorrow. Only a few people got shock when they came to know about the death of Lucy. But as far as the poet is concerned, poet knows Lucy Gray properly. So this is the reason that when Lucy died, the poet, he got a shock, and he says that the thought of her death gives a great shock, great sorrow, great grief to poet. So in this way, the poet William Wordsworth, he tells us about Lucy. He tells us the personality of Lucy and also the death of Lucy. Thanks, students.